I guess we're live, Kevin.
Oh, really? Already?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I hit the live button.
It's been a while.
Hopefully this works.
It's been a while.
It's clear. Yes. It is July 1st.
It's pizza time.
It's pizza time. July 1st, 2019. This is Atlanta United FC Weekly.
Yep, just got
Home
the
Before Dark
notification.
podcast.
Definitely live.
Yep, not even recording the audio. So we're going to get the audio from YouTube. And
well,
this is
it's
gonna
just
be fun.
us. It's just us.
This is going to be the two of us. Thank you guys for joining us.
Just the two of us.
I am Tim Herman. As always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Mr. Kevin Bradley. We are going live 6 minutes early because I pressed the button too early.
Womp womp.
Why don't they make you turn two keys? Like, we need a thing where you and I...
Like the nuclear codes?
Sir, turn your keys.
That would be great. Engage. That'd be great.
That's like, do you remember that episode of, was it Aqua Teen? Whenever Meatwad was pointing the gun at himself. He's like, sir, I need you to turn the key. I need the launch codes.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this lovely Monday evening. If you are joining us on YouTube, thank you for taking time out of your night to participate in the trap. If you guys are not subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell icon so that you guys get notified like Kevin just did when we accidentally go live.
Yeah. Worked out.
And if you're listening to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, Podcast Addict.
Not iTunes anymore because it's dead, right?
iTunes, I don't know if it's dead yet.
Dead to me.
Yeah. They're killing it for sure. But
they're killing it.
But if you are listening to us on Apple Podcast or Stitcher, make sure that you guys leave us a review and or a rating and or a review, and we'll read it live on the show. Kevin, what's the number for people to call in and leave a voicemail?
678-827-3297.
678-827-3297.
Haven't said it in a month, and it's burned in there now.
It's
part of
burned
me.
in there.
It's a part of me. Oh shit! Did you go after dark mode on the screen over here? I like it.
It's
good.
Dark mode. Music's still playing.
That's good.
Yeah, podcast studio music's still going on. Sweet. I gotta kill this. How you feeling tonight, man? It's been a while.
Feeling good.
As the great Aaron, what's his name from Stain said.
Good.
It's been a while.
Went to a dermatologist today. Had a bit of a scare and was freaked out. Had to get all my scans and tests and pick up an order of garlic knots to go with the shirt. That's what I'm hiding under my neck tonight.
I thought that was a microwave Totino's pizza roll.
It's actually
that's why there's an opening on the side, like you cooked it.
It's the cheesy knot crust on the pizza.
Real talk. This is a question for the trap tonight. I don't care if it's for gluttonous reasons or what. What's your favorite bad pizza?
Yeah.
What's your favorite
pizza chain?
Yeah, pizza chain. What's your favorite pizza chain, or like what's your favorite? For me, thinking back, I ate so many big New Yorker pizzas.
Yeah.
Whenever they came out with the big Pizza Hut came out the big one and had like kind of a sweet sauce to it. But the pretzel crust with Cheese Whiz, the Little Caesars one, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
God almighty.
It's a matter of just taking that out. You know how Domino's...
It's a matter of life and death, really.
Yeah. You know how Domino's has that takeout assurance?
Yeah.
Yeah, where you eat half of it on your way home and you go back and
file a claim.
Hey, guys. And then Fanatics tells you it's going to cost $10 to send it back.
For me, it's bounced around a lot. So for a while, it was Domino's after they revamped all their crusts.
When Domino's went Hungry Howie's on the game and put flavored crusts on, that was a game changer.
But now I'm back to Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut's my go-to.
Dude, their fake cheese is good.
Dude,
like it's good. Their cracker crust too.
I'm about it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think we put Papa John's, not even for like the shitty reasons that everybody knows about, but like just now, like I'd take little.
I will say Papa John's is also has a game changer in their own right. They were the only one to do the garlic butter with their pizza. Now everybody's got
and pepperoncinis. They used to
and the pepperoncinis. Pepperoncinis,
exactly. And you take a bite.
I bet that I would be willing to bet that without Papa John's, the pepperoni market would not be what it is in the States.
The country of Greece.
They single-handedly increased the market value of pepperoncinis in the United States.
Richard Gordon, OG Richard Gordon in the trap saying franchise pizza chains are garbage. That's the point. That's what we're trying to get across.
Exactly.
It's like you're sitting around in your underwear, your wife's out of town, and I don't know why I pluralized wife, but welcome to Real Salt Lake Weekly.
We're both sitting in our underwear. Our wives are out of town.
Brian Diefenbach, Totino's Cardboard Supreme Pizza. Okay.
I'm a Red Baron man.
See, we didn't get Totino's. Actually, no, we had Totino's and it switched up to Geno's.
See, I used to get the Piggly Wiggly. My mom would come home whenever we were on that food stamp gang and get the like microwave pizzas, the single pizzas.
Oh yeah.
But you'd microwave it, so put it in the oven so it was soft crust. It's like a soft batch, but then you just roll it up into a burrito. And then once you get to that last bite, all of it just falls out the bottom. And then you got good. That's just good dip at that point. You just get your bag of Doritos.
Dude, but
and
the
just
sides,
eat all of the leftover.
you cook them so long that the side or the outside of the top of the crust ends up like whenever you microwave a bagel, and it's just like a chew toy. You're talking about the Tony's pizzas, right? The deep dish Tony's pizzas.
Yeah, maybe just Piggly Wiggly brand for me. But yeah.
Yeah, my mom used to come home with a bunch of either the Totino's, like
because they were like $4 for $1 or something like that.
Yeah.
So fucking cheap.
But we also, my favorite freezer pizza was Tombstone because they mixed the pepperoni in with the sauce under the cheese. And that was a game changer to me.
Nah, see, Red Baron for life.
Oh, we got Mouths of the South in the trap trying to promote their advertisers. Marco's Pizza, Mouths of the South approved. Are you trying to say that one of your sponsors is a shit pizza chain? Because that's what we're getting at right now. Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will at some point get away from this topic of pizza.
Well, this is just going to be the rest of the episode. We're on brand tonight.
Ooh, best pizza topping. Ooh. Underrated artichoke hearts.
Gross.
No, artichoke hearts for sure.
No.
If we're meat wise, it's hard to get away from like a pepperoni or like a good soppressata.
Pepperoni jalapeno.
Yeah, pepperoni jalapeno is good.
That's the way to go.
All right. Pepperoni. Yeah, pineapple and green olive. That's weird.
Pineapple. What's your thoughts on? Oh, gross. Pineapple and green olive. Oh, I guess it'd be like a salty sweet thing, right?
No, it's like a
trying to eat trail mix on a pizza. What are you doing? You got the tropical trail mix. It's just freeze dried fruit and M&Ms on a pizza.
It's Target Archer Farms peanut butter monster trail mix. You get halfway through the bag and realize you're gonna need to go see the doctor the next day.
What's your feeling about pineapple on pizza? Speaking of,
I'm not a fan of it.
No.
I'm not a big. I could do salty sweet occasionally. I don't like it with my pizza. Like I love pineapple chopped up in an al pastor. Like that to me gives a little relief.
Grilled pineapple is fucking phenomenal.
Grilled pineapple is great with like a teriyaki chicken sandwich or a teriyaki burger
or like some jerk chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys smash that like button. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for joining the Pizza Cast tonight.
And we are
going through a rebranding.
Yeah, we're only 2 minutes into our. Yeah, this is the pizza podcast that never happened.
This is Pizzagate.
Whoa! I wouldn't go that far. For those of you asking, we got these shirts. We actually ordered these at the beginning of our Soccer in the Streets soccer season a couple months ago.
Speaking of which, I got a text today. I guess Summer League is about to start up. If you're interested in playing Station Soccer Summer League with Soccer in the Streets, go to soccerstreets.com, I believe is what it is. And you should be able to click on adult leagues and select a day, sign up with a team and all of that.
Adult leagues.
5v5 with keepers. So yeah, we got these shirts in hopes of having them before the 10-week long season, and
they got caught up in customs, and they showed up 2 months after the fact. We got them from Amazon.
Worth it though. These are very nice.
They actually are like training kit
material. I really like them.
It ended up working out. Like we thought we were just.
I want to get the mom crest as a patch and just turn it into a kit. Just lean into it.
Do it. Okay. A little housekeeping. MLS fantasy. We have been out of commission for the past month. MLS.
Domer. Oh, those are pepperonis. Thought those were close-up shots of Kevin's nipples.
You wish.
It's good.
We have
It is to scale though.
Yeah,
It's not really. It'd be concerning if it was a close up because it's really
and it's concave.
exactly.
It's
Exactly. Was that a squid's eye?
I've never heard that in my life. Oh, God. Home Before Dark Fantasy League on MLSsoccer.com, and the MLS app is back up and running. It's been back up and running, I think, for 2 or 3 weeks. We've been out of commission for about the past 4. We missed you guys tons, but I just
Andy locked up first place in the first season.
Andy
right?
Watkins won our first the spring season of MLS Fantasy, and then right now we have in first place Don't Var Me Bro, in second place Pisco Eric Vieira, who is a Red Bulls fan. We have Peachy Keenum. Oh, Patrick, you're letting your wife beat you right now in the MLS Fantasy.
Ooh.
I don't know why I said it like that. That was like a very 80s thing to say. Thought Marker SC, Michael German. Germond. We're going to start adding letters.
Speaking of Thought Marker and Mike, I don't know if you guys saw, we reposted the shirt design that he put up with the hand with the icons around on the fingertips and stuff. He's got shirts up for sale, and we're hoping to get a print up in the studio. But yeah, be sure to go check him out on Twitter. I believe it's just at Thought Marker on Twitter.
Yeah. And then in fifth place, we have David Benson, dog for him. Make sure that you guys, if you are playing MLS Fantasy and you aren't signed up with the Home Before Dark Fantasy League, just search Home Before Dark. Join up and compete with fellow homies, trap stars, and the like. Really busy past week for us.
Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I got it right. Thought Marker on Twitter, and you can go to MikeGermon.com. You can decide how it's pronounced. He's a big fan of that. So
he absolutely loves that.
Germond.
German.
Yeah.
Furman,
it's been what were you saying? It's been a busy week.
Yeah, not even.
It's been a busy month.
Past
not really.
2 weeks.
We had to take
Atlanta
a break,
United.
right?
Yeah,
should we divulge why we've been on hiatus?
Yeah, go for it.
So, Home Before Dark, you've noticed that Dan has not been around. I don't think he's going to be around anymore, unfortunately. I'd be lying if I said that.
He'd be remiss even.
I'd be remiss if I said that it was a surprise to any of us, really. I think he's been stepping away more and more over the past 2 or 3 years. And considering recent trends in Home Before Dark faithful, it's also not surprising from that standpoint either. They come, they go, and they just move on to do other things. So I heard he's going to have some solo projects coming out. He's invested in a bunch of camera equipment and going to do...
I think he's putting it on DatPiff, strictly on DatPiff.
Yeah. So
which is really bold.
Wait, is it? I thought it was Dad Piff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he started his own. It's his own thing.
His own mixtape.
Yeah, it's a whole John and Nate plus Kate scenario with him over there. So yeah, be sure to keep an eye out for that, I guess, and we'll see him when we see him.
Yeah. Last week, we go up to Canada, go up to Ontario.
Do you want to talk about Open Cup at all?
Go up to Toronto. Brandon Vasquez, good.
Yeah. Great 2 showings. Got Romario out of the lineup as a result.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I was going to talk about.
He ended up getting traded, but
I think he got sold or traded as a result. Trades aren't final until July 9th, and looks like Romario Williams is going to be going to Columbus in exchange for some sweet TAM, which I'm wondering what we're going to do with that, because I feel like we have a few roster slots open. We just announced the signing of Emerson Hyndman about 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I think that one was kind of, I love you Twitter journos or journos in general who post on Twitter all the time and ruin all the surprises.
Yeah.
Posting pictures of Emerson Hyndman sitting in the players in the suite up in there. Come on, man. Let me have that. Let me be excited.
I'm not that doesn't bother me as much as the kit reveal stuff. That kind of stuff I want to be surprised by. Player stuff doesn't bother me nearly as much.
Let me try and turn this fan on real quick.
A player announcement. What do you guys think about the excessive media coverage on Twitter? Is it a good thing? I think it is overall.
Michelle, you're used to this, right? I mean, the tabloids in England, granted, most of that stuff gets made up during the transfer window. And I don't know, just we're starting to see a little bit of that. I want to say there was a story that I saw pop up where they were trying to use Atlanta United as leverage pretty much to get a guy signed.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the guys who do it, but
it's tough because it's like there's no in between. Right? It's either and like you just feed the beast. And if people are chomping at the bit to get that information, people are going to continue to pursue it and get more and more invasive, and more information is going to be out there versus trying to leave things to surprise or to conversation or whatever, or speculation. There's no in between, really. I feel like it's one or the other.
Yeah.
And being a club like Atlanta United that has so much media attention on it over the past 3 years now, it's only going to keep going unless the bottom falls out and you go through another a stint of 3 or 4 years of nobody caring because they're not performing well. So I don't see any end of it in sight.
Yeah, I don't either.
Do you think that's common with other MLS teams though? I don't know, from other fan bases.
Oh, I'm sure. It can't just be.
I'm not saying that we're special in that way, but I'm sure it's different for each individual club, right?
Yeah.
Like I think I am willing to bet that the media outpouring and coverage on Philly, for example, this season compared to the past 2 seasons is tenfold just based on their success.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that.
Anyway, Open Cup. Romario Williams subbed out for Brendan Vasquez.
Brendan Vasquez has shown out. He hasn't scored in his first 2 MLS starts, but he has, in my opinion, played pretty damn well. And he's been on, running his ass off, getting into lanes, making plays on the ball. Just been, I think, a little unfortunate to not get on the end of a couple goals. But he has been pretty dominant in Open Cup.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, I think it absolutely cemented Romario Williams.
So the beginning of our hiatus started. So just joking about Dan, in case that wasn't abundantly clear. We just took a break with international break and Open Cup. We just needed to kind of take some time off, focus on work, home life, stuff like that. So we're back in for the second half of the season, which we're officially in now. And we've now played 17 games. We're officially in the back half of the season.
Yeah, it only took us, a month longer than everybody else.
Yeah, but it was
Montreal is 3. They have 3 games in hand on us, or we have 3 games in hand on Montreal.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I always say that shit backwards.
But yeah, so we needed a break. But the first week of that break was the Open Cup match against
Charleston
Battery, which ends up having to go to extra time.
Yeah,
based on the lineup rotation, and that's when we see Brendan Vasquez really come into play because he did not start that game. He
didn't. Yeah, and Romario scored 1 goal in that game.
Yeah, he comes in as a substitution and puts 2 away in overtime.
Yeah,
extra time. And
then one of the goal that he had against Columbus, the one that he just turned on the goal line, and was able to get that. I don't know. I'm very impressed with him.
Very impressed with him. It's a small sample size. I think I'm more impressed right now. The new sort of key piece in the Frank de Boer system, it has been for me Dion Pereira, who's come in and played a lot more time in recent weeks and seems to be a player in regular rotation in this lineup.
Yeah, he's definitely hitching himself to Dion Pereira's wagon. And I think a lot of that has to do not to take anything away from Dion Pereira and his work ethic and his ability and everything, but it'd be hard to say that some of it and the focus on him playing more doesn't have anything to do with Andrew Carleton not being able to get his act together.
What's your thoughts on the Andrew Carleton situation?
We're bouncing around a lot, but
who cares?
I think Joe Patrick I thought he put it pretty well when he was talking about, I can't remember who the reporter was. It might've been him who was interviewing Michael Parkhurst about Parkhurst saying that he's like, I forgot my passport one time in San Jose. And then we were about to leave go to the Caribbean from New England, and I was scrambling. I couldn't find it. Called all the airports. Finally got it shipped over to me overnighted. And he's like, "That's kind of the difference in the two of them." It's like, the scenario was he just left it and he forgot it. He couldn't find it.
Guess so.
Didn't care enough to go find it.
I mean, I guess I try to put myself into that position being somebody.
I forgot my birth certificate on the way to go get my passport.
Okay, so I can understand it from the standpoint of somebody that just found out there was a difference between mild and medium heat level.
Guys, okay. We're going to have a couple like dummy moments tonight. Kevin's is that he did not realize that there was a difference in heat levels between.
I knew there was a difference. I just didn't know which one was which.
Okay, well, first of all, so Dirty Bird Person and Matt Wisniewski both asking
nipple shirts.
What are those pepperoni shirts? Yes. The next step is bologna slice shirts. Like fried bologna where they're cupped.
I think this is my new aesthetic. I'm just gonna start getting food texture clothes. Like I want one that's
just cheeseburger one next.
I want a big Pop-Tart shirt. I just want the whole front to be icing, just an icing swash and sprinkles. What a fried chicken. I want to get a good chicken nugget shirt. Be good. French fries, that'd be good. French fries would be really good.
It's funny is like I bought
gummy bears.
Angie likes the mismatched socks.
Yeah.
And whenever we first started, I think the first Christmas that we were together, or maybe it's the second one, I bought her a bunch of pretty much this in sock form. It was like cheeseburgers and French fries and candy and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely my new look.
No, don't change the subject.
What?
Kevin didn't know there was a difference. He didn't know what the difference in what the hierarchy of hotness or spiciness was between mild and medium.
I've explained this ad nauseum. First of all, they're the same word. Second of all,
mild and medium are not the same word.
They totally are.
No, not in relation to one another.
Might as well be.
Mild in relation to anything is going to be less than whatever it
doesn't matter
being compared to.
It's just I never have to introduce those selections
into my
food order. It's always just hot.
What's the difference between intermediary or intermediate and novice?
Small.
Which one knows less? A novice or an intermediate?
Okay, I've used those words when describing things. Mild and medium, I don't have to use unless I'm at Publix and the only two salsa options are mild and medium, and they don't give me a heat scale. I have nothing to compare that to.
Mild is usually green, which means
they were the
hot.
exact same, had the exact same ingredients in the exact same order. At Publix.
Yeah, that's your problem. Go to Kroger.
I had to get a pub sub.
My dumb moment was walking around after the game on Saturday, walking past Matthias Pogba, and I was like, man, they all look so much alike. I'm like, they got the strongest genes imaginable.
Careful.
And then come to find out, I didn't realize that they were twins. Florentine and Matthias are twins. It's like,
so you are earning that 1-star review.
Oh my god! No, I'm serious though, because Paul and they all look so like they have the exact same features, except Paul is obviously smaller than Matthias and Florentine, but. I didn't realize that they were twins, and I felt like a real idiot.
See, exactly. Domer understands. Mild and medium are not worth the time at all. Both are baby food level. I agree, which is why I didn't know the difference. Is because I've never had to compare the two or know there was a difference.
Dirty Bird Person saying inflammable means flammable. What a country. You know how I know about that? Did you ever watch Clarissa Explains It All?
Yes.
There was a whole like trivia question on that show about what's the difference between flammable and inflammable. And it was a trick question because it's the same thing. Like gasoline is inflammable.
Yeah, that's basically what those are the exact same words.
Yeah.
Mild and medium. The same example.
Ugh.
All right. What were we talking about? Andrew Carlton.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, as somebody that had that boneheaded moment in his 30s, I can see where you're thinking, oh, we're going to Toronto. It's just like you're playing in the same league. In quote unquote the same country. Like to me, I don't register just in passing that Canada is a different country. Like that's
fair.
I guess that's the only way. if he was, say, going to play in Spain or the UK or Mexico, like to me, okay, this is which seems more out of the country, Mexico or Canada?
It depends.
Like to me, I would, if I had to make a split-second decision, I register Mexico more out of the country than Canada for whatever reason. And I think culturally, it's just the differences.
I think it depends. For me, like Toronto, sure, because it's right across the border,
and that too, yeah.
Like it's very close to like Buffalo, Niagara area. But like thinking about like I don't know, like the border towns, they're so close to the Texas town. I don't know. It's so
that's
similar.
The only thing I can think of is you're talking about a kid who, it's shown that he's not the brightest at times and doesn't make the best decisions or gets very distracted. So from that standpoint, but however, the fact that he has been under a microscope and his ass is on the line.
How much of a microscope has he really been under?
Because by Frank DeBoer?
By Frank DeBoer, sure.
That's what I mean.
But over the past 2 years, he's been relatively sheltered, I feel like.
No, I am talking about by Frank DeBoer and the coaching staff. That they have made public statements about his professionalism and his ability to play in this system and under them and their management.
Because after so many times, you finally have to say something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Again, like if you know that to be the case, that's where it becomes a bigger problem, is that everything gets dialed up and ratcheted up to another level because of that. So whenever you make a boneheaded mistake like that, under normal circumstances, maybe isn't that big of a deal. But considering the circumstance that he's under, it seems like a much bigger deal. And I think it's pretty funny that Frank has come out and said what his approach was not only just to send him to the twos, but to also force him to warm up for 45 minutes and still not play.
Yeah. I like Justin Johnson's opinion here. Disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
That's exactly it.
But I mean, you bring up a good point. That empathic point that you have that I wasn't really thinking of, because I keep thinking, what a dumb kid not remembering his passport, like really squandering this opportunity.
Remember whenever you were moving into a new apartment and
we
packed up everything, your entire life, we packed it up into a U-Haul, and you were moving to a new location and we drove in Atlanta traffic, which might as well have been going from Atlanta to Canada to your new apartment, only for you to realize you didn't have your new keys to get into new said apartment.
Yeah, they were at my old apartment.
And you were look, sometimes these things happen, man.
I was trying to agree with you. You gotta call me out like that. But yeah, I have not heard one person try and empathize with him. But you're right. I think less so the whole Canada feels like the US thing, and more so you're playing in the same league and not having to think about it.
Exactly.
And honestly, I probably wouldn't have thought about it before this, or even the NBA. Whenever, I don't know if you know who Enes Kanter is, Turkish player. Yeah, about his whole thing with he couldn't travel to Toronto to go play the Raptors because of his passport. About him being an enemy of the state in Turkey, and I think they revoked his passport. Period. But yeah, I mean, I don't think about those things in sports.
I definitely don't.
And I think we're probably in more of a, I guess not a bubble, because in European soccer they play, cross country tournaments, but they have EU citizens. I guess, I don't know. I guess you still need your passport to get between the countries, but I don't know. Yeah.
I think it's a unique situation based on him being a kid, and that's been blown out. I don't disagree with what everyone's saying. I think he does have some growing up to do, and hopefully that's a kick in the ass that he needs. But you want to see more out of somebody like him, and obviously wish him the best.
I like what Brian's saying. He said, I mean, he's 19. He said, I know for one, obviously being sarcastic, I never made any mistakes after 18.
Yeah, exactly.
But he does say you'd think his mom would be calling and going through his checklist. Like, do you have your clothes, your toothbrush, your passport?
Yeah.
Yeah, there. Like, I mean, there are staff. I can't imagine he's the only player to ever forget it. Obviously, Parkhurst talking about leaving in another city. I don't know. I still think there's room for redemption for him.
Yeah.
I think he's just got to want it bad enough.
Yeah.
He's got to see this as like, is he going to take this hit and get back up?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that I've seen. Obviously, I haven't seen enough from him to know whether or not he has that resolve.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Along the same lines of Atlanta United 2, Joseph Samuel apparently has been released from his contract.
I actually didn't even see that.
Yeah. So no details along those lines about where that's going or where he's going after the fact, but I guess they've released him from his contract with Atlanta United 2.
Gotcha.
So Open Cup play. I don't really have anything else to talk about that.
We play St. Louis on the 10th.
Yeah, exactly.
Next Wednesday
at Kennesaw. So what are you thinking about going maybe or no?
I don't know. It's tough, man. It's one thing to get downtown on a Wednesday night to get over there, but to get all the way from our neck of the woods up to Kennesaw.
Yeah, it's a haul.
Yeah. And we might just do a fight companion for that, right?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we'll go ahead and do that.
Would you guys be interested in that in the trap? If you guys, instead of, for those of you guys not going to
especially
the game,
for that game, because some of the commentary for some of these Open Cup games have been pretty terrible.
If you guys want to somehow, for whatever reason, forego listening to Conti and Longshore and listen to
I guess that would be the difference this time, is that we'll actually
on
have
the radio,
Atlanta United commentary. Oh, they won't do the video broadcast. It'll be
that. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe they will,
because it hasn't been for the video. I know that they've been doing it for.
Would you guys listen to us and commentate with us while we go and watch the game on Wednesday? Just let us know. I mean, we might just do it anyway.
Yeah, just
even if nobody wants it.
Yeah, it hasn't stopped us before.
Yeah, that's true. It's very true.
So yeah, nothing else to update on Open Cup aside from that we play St. Louis next Wednesday.
Yep.
So then turning attention back
Toronto.
to MLS play. Yeah.
So penalty, not a penalty for the foul adjudged against Florentine Pogba.
Not a foul.
Agreed. I don't know how you don't overturn that.
Yeah, he didn't even look at it.
I know that was very disappointing to see.
Yeah.
And the two penalties we got, as much as it's going to sound like I'm a homer, I mean, those were pretty clear.
Yeah.
Arms
Hand
out,
not in a natural position. That it influences the game. Like, yeah, I think those. So the biggest thing out of the Toronto match, I think, well, two things. Bend don't break, hit the deck break, however you want to call it.
Dude, that actually worked out.
Jumped on the grenade for us.
Dude, how clutch has he been the past two games?
Well, he didn't really play this past week.
Yeah, he assisted the game-winning goal.
He did assist it.
It's very clean.
As he came on, too. Intentional, do you think? Or
I
just
think so.
a miss? I think he went to go for a goal, and it just happened to go that way.
I was just very happy to hear people cheer for him.
Yeah.
And give him some life.
Yeah. So biggest thing to come out of the Toronto game, I think arguably, is the Pity Martinez game tying. Miss.
So little secret, guys, we were actually going to record last Wednesday night after that game. But we didn't end up doing it.
Heartbroken.
We were heartbroken. The penalty at the end of the game, I think we both looked at each other. I think just trying to unjinx ourselves. I don't know what to say about that other than say he's going to fuck this up. And then you're always happy when it doesn't. Yeah. But then it happened. You know what? He was one of the best players we had on the field that night. I thought he was great. And you know what? I can't fault a guy for missing a friggin' penalty.
Yeah.
It's such a hit or miss thing.
Especially in those circumstances. That's just awful. On the road, it's going to be the last play of the game. You put your team in a position to walk out of there with a point. There's a lot of pressure. As much as Pity is adverse to admitting that he's under pressure, he clearly must have felt something there.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's even necessarily pressure. Sometimes you just mishit it. I think a little too much is made of it after the game.
I can see that.
Penalties are a cruel mistress, man.
Yeah.
He's made a career in South America, I believe, just being very clinical with penalties, and he made one in the game. Just missed one.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50 chance. And that's what happened. And
Yeah.
we were very unfortunate to have conceded that penalty beforehand that I can't remember who put that in. Maybe Pozuelo that put it in.
I think the biggest disappointment for me against that Toronto team is you're playing a Toronto team without Michael Bradley, without Josie, that you didn't really ever have control of. I mean, I guess you kind of did whenever you were up 2-1, but you go down early. I mean, within the first minute you go down.
Yeah. We conceded in 30 seconds to Endo.
Yeah. The biggest issue for me in that game was Michael Parkhurst at right back. Michael Parkhurst is serviceable at left back. But at right back, it just seemed like he was consistently getting burned.
Yeah, I can't think of any great things to say about him during the game, I guess.
That was my biggest issue defensively in that game, was him at the right back position. Overall, though, it just did not seem to be. They come out, Atlanta comes up and gets the tying goal, and then the go ahead with the PK to be up 2-1, and then you think they're going to walk out of there with 3 points, and then in stoppage time, Toronto gets the tying. Was that how it went? No, they scored one,
yeah.
And then they got the PK in stoppage time. That's right.
Yeah,
and then you get the one at the miss. That was just a tough game, man. That was a
very tough game. That's BMO Field's always tough to go up and play at. Playing against a good team like Toronto, granted they were without a couple players, as were we, right? We're playing without Joseph, we're playing without Barco, we're playing without Franco Escobar in that game due to yellow card suspension. We're playing without Tito Villalba.
Yeah, like
neither team were at full strength. So I mean, all things considered, it was an even matchup, and it's a tough environment to go into. They're a good team.
We just seemed out of sorts. I think the biggest glaring issue in that game for me, the more I look back on it, is how much this team needs Franco Escobar at right back. As much as we talk about the left back position, which I think has been resolved as of this past weekend until proven otherwise, which we'll get to. But
put a pin in the discussion of left back after Saturday.
That's Pogba's role to play.
As long as we can keep giving him electrolytes and keep his freaking legs from giving out on him from cramping. But
that's a lot of body to move around for 90 minutes, dude.
He is a big man.
He's a fucking wall, dude.
Yeah. He's a workhorse too, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean, I think that was the biggest glaring issue for me out of that game against Toronto, was that offensively we looked kind of devoid of chance making. Defensively, we got burned at right back pretty consistently, players out of position here and there. Overall, just left a lot to be desired. Obviously, the heartbreaker at the end wasn't a game that we seemed overly dominated at all, but we also didn't seem to have control over it. It was just kind of a wash. You know?
Yeah, I feel like the control of that game definitely switched back and forth, kind of came in waves. I never felt completely comfortable in that match that we were going to get away with a point even.
Yeah. Atlanta United still without a win against a team that scores first this season.
That's not true. Oh, that scores first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But not against a team that scores.
We finally broke that.
Saturday.
Takes
we
us
finally
to the next point.
Broke the damn trend.
Right.
Bucked the trend.
6 consecutive wins at home now for Atlanta United? I believe I remember them saying that. I believe it's 6 now. So, turning attention to the most recent game, which was this Saturday against Montreal. You guys went to the game. You didn't get out to the tailgate or anything, right?
We didn't. We actually got to our seats right as kick was about to happen.
How did it feel for you being back in the stadium after so long?
Felt good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
Feel weird? Yeah.
It felt a little weird.
Yeah.
Second half, flat.
Yeah.
Like it was quiet.
Team and stadium.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think one begets the other. But it's aside from the supporter section, it was just like it was dead silent in the second half.
Yeah.
Lineup.
So lineup for Montreal.
Dion sits.
Dion sits for Justin Miram.
Justin Miram comes in.
And Pogba at left back. We see the return of Franco Escobar at right back.
LGP and Miles Robinson.
Gressel in the 10 with Pity over at right wing, which was probably the biggest head scratcher for me, aside from Pogba at left back. But seeing Pogba's defensive playmaking ability and what little bit of time we've seen him play this season, I wasn't as concerned.
He uses his body so well on defense.
Absolutely.
His anticipatory body, like his positioning, like jut that butt out and get in front of the guy, get between the guy and the ball, and like he does that so well.
The biggest problem with that lineup, and it ended up showing through in the play, is that you had players stacked one in front of the other that do not play together regularly. Or do not play regularly. So you have Pogba at left back and you have Justin Meram directly in front of them at left wing. And they were consistently having to argue and discuss with one another who was going to be where and how they needed to play the space over on the wing. And it left a lot to be desired. Ultimately, Justin Meram has a hell of a game, obviously. And would you say it's tough to take away from Barco, but aside from Barco's goals, I think he's probably top 3 goals for Atlanta United right now for this season, and his goal this past weekend. Just a great shot. I mean, cuts the defender, places it
top 5. It was number 5 on top 10 on SportsCenter.
Yeah, awesome goal.
That was great.
But yeah, so that was the biggest thing with that lineup, and what we saw in the run of play was that you have 2 players that don't play regularly together, that were having to kind of figure it out as the game progressed.
And I think the yelling back and forth, or like the communication between them, made it seem a little worse than it was.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
I really didn't think, to me, their link up play wasn't Garza and Yamil Assad, but it wasn't bad, but there's like no continuity. There's no history between those players playing together, and they're having to learn on the fly. And I think that they did a pretty good job of that. I will say I'd be remiss if I didn't say MLS fucked up so bad by not including Miles Robinson, the best center back in the league, on the MLS All-Star ballot. And he didn't get picked up by
he continues to keep balling out, man.
Oh yeah, dude, every time he tackles somebody, it's just like just yelling out, "He's a grown ass man," or just grown. Like we need to get a grown ass man chant going.
Yeah, he's had a hell of a season, and it doesn't show. It's not showing any signs of stopping. Brittany S. Does Robinson need rest? And
I don't think so.
Anthony Neitzel answers, I don't think Robinson wants to rest. I don't think he needs it, and I don't think he wants it. So
why halt it at this point?
Well, especially whenever you see players and what they've been able to do with the opportunities presented so far in Dion Pereira, Justin Meram, Pogba. I mean, players getting playtime and capitalizing on it. Brandon Vasquez. I mean, there's 4 right there that have proven that they're ready to step up if and when needed. So, the other thing about the whole link up with Pogba and Meram, it's had a similar issue with the right wing and right back as well. I think it was just a universal issue that Atlanta United had on Saturday, where they were consistently trying to drive it up the middle. And I was blowing you up the entire game because Montreal wants to play compacted and centrally as it relates to their defensive strategy. And Atlanta United just tried to steamroll right into it and hard-nosed approach to playing it down the middle rather than playing it out to the sides of the field and then creating opportunities there. And for the bulk of the game, nothing came of it. And then ultimately what happens is Justin Meram's goal ends up coming from the outside edge of the box, where he only has to cut one defender. And
there's a very Barco-esque goal.
Yeah. But he only has to cut one defender there because everybody is so centrally located on the field. So that was my one frustration that I really had. I think that the adjustments were made in the second half more so than they were over the course of the entire first half. And it looked like the game was much more in control, and Atlanta was definitely pressing things and pressing the tempo and pace. And possession in the second half more so than the first. But if I had any frustrations with the game Saturday, it's that they took a little too long to recognize and address that, I thought.
Yeah, that was one of the weird things to look out. I am far from an analytical or technical mind when it comes to soccer, but just looking out on the field, I was like, okay, like what can I see out there? It's just we were so compact for so long in that game. You're right. And it definitely detracted from us being able to get the ball spread out.
And then even whenever you manage, so you've got to attack those teams one of two ways. You either distribute to the wings, get them to pull out, and then you can get the ball back to the middle and run it down. Or you try to pull them out past the midfield line. And there was one moment in the first half when Atlanta had some passing around our 18 and drew them really far forward. We create the space in the middle and we start to get some build-up play, and then they just completely stop play at midfield and then have to rebuild the whole thing. And it's just this sort of stalling out and how they want to approach the offense. And maybe some of that's to blame with Barco not being in the lineup or Joseph not being there, whatever the rhyme or reason may be. I don't think it's any major cause for concern, but in that game, particularly against what was, I think still is the second team in the East. So that's a 6-point swing ultimately in the race in the East, which is huge for this team.
I thought it was a very interesting question that was posed. I'm trying to find it real quick. It was just a matter of trying to grade. So it was from Falcons Rule, at Falcons Rule 17, Brian Reynolds. He said, okay, we're 17 games into Atlanta United season, which marks the halfway point. What's your grade in the season so far? I don't think I saw you respond to that. What would your grade be right now for Atlanta United? Knowing that, let's look at that table real quick.
I'm not saying anything about games in hand. I refuse to do it.
Okay.
Because far too many times, too much is read into that and too much is placed on that whenever those points don't end up happening, it doesn't really mean anything until you've got them. I think definitely a promising statistic, but it depends on.
I get it. Smoke it if you got it. Smoke them
if you
got
who
them.
do those games in hand end up mattering on? Because it could have mattered against Toronto whenever you have a position or a possibility to take points away against a team that isn't playing very well and was without two of their best players, and you didn't. So now that game in hand has to count against a Red Bulls team or another team. It doesn't end up being that Montreal game. Great. But ultimately, game in hand doesn't really mean much. I think overall,
regardless, we're
irregardless.
Regardless and irregardless are the same word. The
question still stands.
We're 3 points behind the lead in the East.
Yes.
What's your grade?
My grade would be just shy of yours, and I would say
USDA choice.
Well, it'd be a good 75-25 ground chuck.
That's fat content. That's not great.
Well, there's some fat on this. There's some fat on this hog that needs to be.
Where's the main marbling coming from, you think? Who makes up the connective tissue in this team?
Barco. And that's the thing that we need to see consistently. And has he proven that he can do so? Absolutely. But we've seen that this team does not. The team prior to international break and the team during international break are two very different teams. While both successful in their own right, it leaves a lot to be desired the past 2 weeks in MLS play or past two matches in MLS play. And then if you even want to include Open Cup play against the Battery and against who was that second game against Columbus, it leaves a lot to be desired ultimately.
Tony Neitzel, I think you guys have the same opinion, Kevin. Tony says, I try to think of games in hand like the possibility of getting some extra fries at the bottom of the bag. Cajun fries.
Yeah.
Central Park fries or Checkers fries, either way.
Just go Five Guys fries all day. I want the grease in the bottom of the bag so I can eat them and then just drain it out. Just tear a piece of the bag off, chewing gum. Everybody's pretty much getting my grade that I was going to go with, which is somewhere in the B to B plus range. I'm not willing to jump over the A line yet. I think that once we get over those games in hand and we see where we shake out, I still think that this team is somewhere between I may upgrade from what I originally said at the beginning of this season, where I thought this team was somewhere in a 4th to 7th place in the East. I think
7th place.
7th place. I think that they have upgraded to a 3rd to 6th place team in the East. I don't think that they end up being in 1st or 2nd. I really don't.
It's not a supporter shield because LAFC is running away with it, but
at the same time, though, as much as we're mentioning the games in hand that Atlanta United has and the points that we're outside of first, New York Red Bulls are in the same position. NYCFC is in the same position. NYCFC can actually jump us with their games.
They are the only team. If we leveled out games and gave everybody wins, there'd be, obviously it doesn't make sense, but like they would be the only team on a point per game basis. That's
both of those. You have both of those teams vying for that position. I think Philly is still in contention and rightfully so to be at the top of the East. DC United up there and rightfully so. I think those 4 teams, 5 if you include Atlanta United, you're really splitting hairs between all 5 of them, statistically speaking. NYCFC, if they end up making that big jump, who knows? But you have the same argument there as you do for Atlanta United in that they have games and points in hand.
Well, you think Philly, on paper, for the rest of the season, has a better shot than we do of winning the East?
What have they done to prove that they haven't right now?
They have the same amount of wins we do.
Right.
With 2 more games played than us.
Right.
That.
I get that. But at the same time, like,
but I'm not saying that they don't have a better. I'm not saying that they're not an equal team to us. But you just to completely relegate us to being 3rd to 6th based off of where we are in standings right now, we're 2nd in points per game.
Right, but you don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the season. And what I'm saying is, I'm basing my opinion.
We get good players back.
Yeah, you're assuming they're going to be healthy and consistent for the rest of the season and not have another injury.
It's the same thing you're assuming for the rest of the teams, though. Like level playing field.
Right, but
shit's going to happen.
Right, but you've also got to remember we've got Open Cup play that these other teams don't have to contend with and play through. That's going to have wear and tear on our players. We have, like I said, we have those 2 extra games, which is saying something. That's 2 extra games that our players have to travel and play in.
I know, but. No, I mean,
you have more risk associated with the additional games that Atlanta United has to play than you do with guaranteed points in the standings.
All right.
It's the truth.
I guess you have to look at strength of schedule the rest of the season, but still, I don't know.
And Atlanta United, I think Conti tweeted something that like 7 of the remaining 17 games that Atlanta United had, or no, maybe it was 10 of the remaining 17 games that Atlanta United has are against teams in playoff position in the East.
Okay.
Like that's a big chunk of the remaining games. Over half of them are against teams in playoff position. You're not playing the bottom of the barrel the second half of the season the majority of the time.
We do have a really rough schedule coming up. Aside from Chicago, we play at Chicago on Wednesday.
But the game's in hand, bro.
We play at Chicago on Wednesday, back home on Sunday against New York Red Bulls. And then at Seattle, back home against Houston, against DC, out to LAFC, at home against LA Galaxy, at home against NYCFC, Portland, Orlando, Philly, Columbus, Cincinnati. We don't get any relief till September 18th against Cincinnati, and then San Jose. So you're right. I mean, we pretty much have, as the standings have kind of fleshed themselves out, we are sitting probably with the hardest strength of schedule the rest of the season.
17 of the next 17 matches are against MLS teams. That's not counting the games against St. Louis.
Yeah. USL powerhouse, St. Louis.
You've got at least 18 games against
we
USL
got the
and
Campeones
MLS
Cup
competition.
Bro, we got
Campeones. Yep.
Yeah. We got a couple scrimmages coming up in training.
It's true.
It's going to be tough. You know, we play against Atlanta United in training every day. You know how hard that is? Strength of schedule. We're playing the 4th ranked team.
You say that, but I'm pretty sure 100% of Tito's injuries have occurred in fucking training. So shut your fucking mouth.
Tony Knights asking if anybody's coming to Portland for a free beer on him to watch the match. How good is the ginger beer there? It's really hit or miss here.
I don't know.
Yeah. Casey Donaldson, Domer's wife, was asking why the bourbon's shaking, because I put hairpin legs on a 6-foot long table that I've made, and it's not super stable.
I'll tell you, whenever I saw her in the parking lot, because she worked over by me, I saw her in the parking lot. I was like, "What up, fool?" And she didn't recognize me, I guess, because I had shaved my head and stuff, and I was in work clothes. And then I started mentioning Domer and stuff, and she just gave me this like, yeah, okay. And then she made me second guess if she was who I thought she was.
That's the worst.
And so then for the next couple of days, I didn't say anything to Domer or anything. And then I get a text. It's like, freak Casey out. He just yelled at her in the streets.
Do I need some sweet and low packets? Actually, were you looking in my cabinets when you were here, Domer? Because I do use sweet and low. I love saccharin. It's delicious.
So who do we have next? This Wednesday we have Chicago.
Yeah, at Chicago. Actually,
another team on paper that we should beat. However,
according to my calculations, we don't play on paper.
I'm pretty sure the same argument that a lot of Atlanta United faithful were making last year about Atlanta United and the XG, from what I seem to remember in a little bit of the broadcast that I watched this past week with Chicago, Chicago is in a very similar situation where they have had some higher XG matches this season and is one of the higher XG teams. They just haven't been able to capitalize in results. Don't hold me to that, because it could have been another team entirely, but I'm pretty sure they said that at Chicago.
I may have gotten really in-depth analysis on another team.
What's their XG per game? Can you see that? Does Who Scored have that?
You ever read Grapes of Wrath?
Where's Dan?
By Stephen King.
Yeah, with Lenny.
Yeah.
And the puppies. Yeah. Oh, no, whenever he's squishing all the grapes.
Yeah, Mr. Jangles.
Whenever Lenny was squishing all the grape babies, making wine out of them.
Grape babies. Grapies. All right. Chicago hasn't won a match since May 11th.
What's their average XG?
I don't have OptaJack or whatever.
Where the fuck is Dan at when you need him? The one time.
XG stats. I'll just put that.
Yeah, see if that works. Nope. XG stats per game, Chicago Fire. Try that one. We need a producer.
We do need a producer.
Who wants to produce the show? Who wants to come do this?
Who wants to be our young Jamie?
Who wants to come pull up links for us and refills?
Don't ask Angie to do that. Otherwise, she would not get home. You would be in that spare bed every night. I'm trying to.
You mean she would be?
Oh, of course, Kevin. I can't find it. I don't know. What's the Audi index? Is that how many times your transmission's going to break down if you own a Volkswagen car?
Oh man, does Who Scored not give you the XG per game of the team?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh well, I'm not gonna. This is just bad.
But they haven't won a game since May 11th. It's been a tough stretch. They lost 3-1 against New York Red Bulls on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yep. And drew Real Salt Lake, lost to us, drew DC, drew New York City, lost to San Jose. They have not been good. And I think that we are probably going to dominate any timetable for Barco's return. Barco and Joseph's return, any timetable?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I've found something to confirm what I said. It said,
we call that confirmation bias.
It's from the armchair analysis himself. It said Fire did dominate once. The Fire did dominate the XG once again tonight, but once again couldn't turn that dominance into something tangible.
Is he trying to say that's a shit stat?
I'm just saying that I think that they have consistently.
So you're saying XG is pointless?
Yes. Well, we were saying that last year. Yeah, their XG in the loss to the Red Bulls was 2.38. They had 26 shots in that game, and 8 of them were on target. Now, that is something to be said against an Atlanta defense that up until this past weekend, that's going to put Pogba to the test. If we're talking about him securing that position, Escobar, I don't know if he's out on yellow card accumulation. I know he got another one this past weekend.
No, he's not going to be out. He just served a suspension.
Oh, that's what he was out for. That's
he served
right.
a suspension
That's right.
against Toronto.
I don't know why I was thinking that. So yeah.
So
Chicago is definitely a very high XG team. This is a team that's going to test Guzan, who's had some boneheaded moments recently.
Maybe it's time for Can to step in.
Can or Guzan, dude. Just saying. So Barco, I think, will be next week. I think Martinez will be next. I think the first time that we'll see a full lineup, a healthy lineup for Atlanta United will be against the Red Bulls, not against the Chicago team.
Against the Chicago team.
What did I say?
You're like one of those commercials for the Super Bowl. For the big game.
What did I say?
We have the Atlanta Soccer Club playing against the Chicago team.
That team from up in Chicago.
You said the Chicago team.
No, I said this Chicago team.
You said the Chicago team.
This. Run it back. Young Jenny.
Young Jenny, can you rewind that real quick? A couple things. Joseph's back on Wednesday, probably on the bench.
Okay, look, I'm fucking right. Brian confirms it. They are second in the league in XG differential. He's tweeting me the link. I knew I didn't make that shit up.
Well, I'm not making it up either. That's a shit stat.
But Atlanta United won the cup with XG last year, bro.
It's true.
Thank you, Brian.
Checks out.
Thank you, Brian. And Atlanta's fourth, though. That's great.
We're in fourth place. Now it's not a shit stat anymore. I believe it. I believe in it.
I believe in it.
I don't know what it is, but I believe him.
To that same point, the team that you mentioned on paper with Philadelphia, can they continue?
Number 1?
Number 3. So
they'll finish third.
3 of the top 4 teams, 3 of the top 5 teams, we'll say, are all in the East. Who do you think's at first?
DC.
LAFC.
Oh, I thought you were talking about East.
No.
I guess that would be the 3 of us. Chicago.
And then LA Galaxy rounds out. You
mean
the
Zlatan?
top 5. Exactly. So, yeah. But Atlanta United's defense, aside from the whole positional issues that they've had at left back, Pogba seems to be a lock there. But aside from left back, you've got LGP, good to go. Miles Robinson, fucking good to go. Franco Escobar, fucking good to go.
Yeah. We're good to go. We're G2G.
G2GF.
We got to talk about this.
Well, that's why I ultimately wanted him to not be on the show anymore. Because he's going to be fucking insufferable if they win.
I'm sorry, Michelle, but Kevin's right. If it comes home, Dan's not coming home. The cup may come home, but Dan won't be if that's the case. I got a real sharp fingernail right now.
That's what happened. It's from all that talking out of the side of my neck. I had to get it stitched up. It's from all that.
This is one of my favorite dances ever. Talking out the side of your neck.
Oh.
Yeah, if the U.S. loses tomorrow, Dan is no longer a part of it.
We'll have tryouts. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, Dan has been having Twitter fun.
What time's the game tomorrow? Noon?
They keep switching it up between 3 and noon. It's 3 o'clock game. I thought it was a 3 o'clock kick. I guess it was the quarters whenever they're doing 2 games a day. It was at 11 and 3. Megan Rapinoe is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Crystal Dunn was incredible. She's so fast. Having her play on that left wing back, or maybe it was left wing back. She recovered so much against France. I felt like it was kind of crazy. I don't know about tomorrow. I haven't had a chance to watch England play.
I haven't either.
I've watched the other teams that The other teams that are still in it, I've watched play multiple games. But
I didn't watch
I've not
much
caught an
out
England
of
game.
unfortunately, aside from the U.S. matches, I have not watched much outside of the very early group stage games.
Yeah. I will say that Netherlands goal, that first one against Italy on Saturday. Just I tweeted it out. It was just so nonchalant. It looks disrespectful.
Yeah.
It just came in off of that.
Yeah.
It was either a free kick or corner, and she just like boop, just like watched it go in. No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't see England get spit on or anything. I haven't been able to. Who was that against?
I don't know.
Yeah, Megan Rapinoe has put this team on her back in a lot of ways. Julie Ertz has been pretty great too. Alex Morgan drawing a lot of attention and creating space and all that.
No, the entire team, top to bottom, has been great.
Yeah. I don't know. It's tough for me to say. It's weird cheering and being from a country where a soccer team is perennially a favorite to win big tournaments.
Yeah.
It just feels weird, but
yeah, definitely does.
I think it's ours. I think it's ours to lose. Sorry. I think we're going to go out there. We're going to go out guns blazing.
Biggest test, I think. What do you think? What do you think? I mean, it's hindsight's 2020, right? But on paper,
according to your calculations,
what would be a bigger challenge for this team, France or England?
It's hard for me to say. I think, like I said, I haven't watched England play, but France, for many reasons, I think were tournament favorites. They were a good team, and they were, playing at home. And I would say France. Talking about playing against an entire country worth of support, and playing against a team that's, I don't know. Anyway, what about you?
Well, Michelle kind of nails it, which is I haven't watched England play, so it's
that's what I say. Like, yeah, it's, I don't know. I'm excited for it though.
Score prediction.
13-0.
Ooh, I'll say 14.
Ooh, I like it.
14-1.
Oh. I don't like that. Defense giving one up.
Well, they'll do, basically it'll be 6-0, and right whenever they think they're going to stop doing celebrations, they score one, which allows them to keep doing it because it's a ratio thing.
It was 13-0 against Thailand, right?
Yeah.
My favorite part about that was the game after where Carly Lloyd's golf clapping after scoring.
And then whenever she comes
yeah.
up, it's pretty great.
Oh, it was very fun watching the Canadian broadcast just rip into our girls for being so disrespectful. I was like, dude, get out of here.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. All right. Score prediction for the Chicago match. And then we'll turn our attentions to the Red Bulls.
3-1 Atlanta.
I will say 2-0 Atlanta. No, I will say 2-1 Atlanta. Sorry. I think that their chance creation will come through with at least a goal, and Atlanta will ultimately be on top. Against Red Bulls at home, Atlanta United back on Sunday. I think that's a redemption match of sorts for Atlanta United, coming off of a loss on the road against a 10-man Red Bulls team with the return of Joseph Martinez and Ezequiel Barco. I think that game has the potential to be a rout in Atlanta United's
favor. It's a
favor.
show and out party is what it's going to be.
I'm going to say a 3-1 win for Atlanta United this Sunday against the Red Bulls.
I'll say 2-0. 2-0.
2-0.
2-0.
2-0.
2-0.
2-0. 2-0.
2-0.
2-0.
2-0. 2-0.
Dos a cero.
Atlanta.
All right. And finally, speaking of U.S. national teams.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we should have talked about this one before we talked about the women's national team, because women's national team, I think, has garnered a lot more excitement, and rightfully so because of the stage and everything else. But U.S. men's national team in the semifinals against Jamaica right now.
Why do you think that we should have saved the best for last? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that we should have talked about U.S. men's national team first because women's national
Because
team
you're
is
sexist.
no. Either way, I cut this. I'm an asshole. I wanted to save the best for last. Like, yeah, I guess either way you think about it, it was an afterthought. So from that standpoint, it makes sense that we talk about it second. But
You need
in
another
terms
shovel?
of significance, I need another drink.
But yes, the team in lesser spotlight that should be talked about less at this moment because Gold Cup is
bullshit
until the final. It kind of is, right?
Where's the final played at?
I don't know.
Just wondering.
I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with it enough.
Yeah.
Been watching some of the games, but
either way, Gold Cup, USA playing Jamaica.
We played against Holland's second team yesterday and got the win. You know that, right?
No.
So Curaçao is a Dutch territory.
Did not know that.
All but one of the players in the starting 11 for Curaçao were born in Holland.
Did we talk about the rumors about Iron Robin coming to Atlanta United?
No, we don't need to.
But,
it's not a thing that's happening.
But why not?
Because.
But wouldn't that be cool? Don't you think?
Yeah.
A little bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
I think it'd be pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
I think if you gotta do it.
Did you ever dream a dream?
So U.S. men's national team, playing
Curaçao.
No, playing Jamaica.
Playing Jamaica now. Kamara Lawrence.
Mexico ends up getting the win in PKs, right?
Yes, against Costa Rica.
That's right.
Costa Rica.
And now they're playing Haiti in the semifinals. So
that's so weird.
Yeah.
Haiti's that far in the
Haiti and Jamaica, right?
Well, no, Jamaica makes it like they usually make it to like the semis or the I want to say they made it to the final last time. Isn't that who we beat in the Gold Cup final last time was Jamaica?
I guess so.
I like what Brittany S is saying. She's like, I'm rooting for Jamaica, right? So Kamara Lawrence isn't going to be playing against us on Sunday.
He doesn't have a Tito Villalba to bark at, so
Yeah.
I don't know what he's going to do with his time.
Yeah, but he's going to be insufferable if he wins a trophy.
It's true. It's true. Also, yeah. Okay. Anything else before we wrap this thing up? I think we're right at an hour.
Yeah, hour and 12 minutes.
Fucking killed it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We didn't derail, but we started off the rails.
True.
Yeah.
Well, sounds about right. All right. No ratings or reviews on Apple Podcasts. No more iTunes, but you can still do it on your mobile device. However you found it, throw up some stars and a rating to hear it read aloud on the show. However you found us, be sure to like or hit the subscribe button, hit the bell Holcomb icon to get a notification whenever we go live.
Shouts out to Bumble.
Oh, Christ.
They don't sponsor this podcast, but they sponsor my life.
Me too.
Yeah.
So yeah, find yourself somebody. Thanks for finding us. Tell Dan to suck it. It's not coming home. If it does, Dan doesn't.
I like these odds.
And yeah, we'll see you next time. As always, be home before dark.
Why y'all gonna put out the fire?
Oh yeah, mate.